Mattachine Family is the first major feature film from Andy Vallentine that's opening the Reeling Film Festival on September 21st. The film stars Chicagoland's own Nico Tortorella and Schitt's Creek Emily Hampshire about friendship, parenthood, relationships. Andy, thank you so much for your time today, and congratulations.
Thank you so much for chatting about the Mattachine Family, Rudy. Excited to be here.
So let's talk a little bit. Not only is the film playing at the festival, but it's the very first film that's kicking everything off.
I know it's a huge honor to be playing in the Music Box Theater. While I'm not from Chicago, we're so excited because Nico is from Chicago. So this is really a homecoming for him. And then also I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Michigan originally. So I have lots of friends and family in Chicago. So it's really going to be a homecoming for us.
Now, you worked on this with your husband, Danny, about real life conversations and experiences.
Sure. It took many years for the film to get off the ground. When Danny and I first started developing it, we were looking for a story that was personal to us. And we kind of looked through maybe the baggage of our relationship and was like, well, what were some of those ups and downs that we've had? And one of them was the idea of, do we want to be parents or not? And, Danny very much wanted to have kids as soon as possible. And I was on the other side where I was like, well, maybe I want kids, maybe I don't, maybe we should wait until, later on, that's something for us to do later. And there was obviously some contention there and some challenges. And so we thought, we kind of moved past that. And when we were thinking of developing a movie, we thought, oh, that would be an interesting idea, of a gay couple and their journey to fatherhood. That's something that, is really, it hasn't been explored often, and that excited us. And after a few years in development, we finally got the movie made.
What I love about this movie is that it's not just here, sometimes you see a TV show or a film and a gay couple already has a child. But you don't get to see, whether it's adoption, foster to adopt, surrogacy. There's so many challenges. And just because this is something you want to do doesn't necessarily mean that the very first time it's going to happen. And there's so much heartache and it could divide a couple. I mean, there's so many issues that go along with that. And I think that film just addresses it so beautifully because there are so many emotions, not only from each person, but their friends and their career. And it's such a tricky thing that I don't think I've ever seen it done so well before on screen.
Yeah, thanks. It's definitely for most queer people, not all queer people, but for most queer people, it is, a long journey to become parents. It is not easy as snapping your fingers. There are most of the times that it is not just a mistake to become, a parent. So it takes planning, financial planning. It is not a clear path, right? Like that was part of the mission of the movie or goal of the movie was to show all these different paths that you can take. We go along with Nico, Thomas in the film as he, goes in and out of all of his friends and the different paths that they went through to become parents or try to become parents, to show, what us queer people, have to go through.
Because I think of especially like my teenage years and coming out and having my, first couple of, thoughts about this, that sometimes you might have seen it in a movie, but you never thought it was for you. You never thought it was possible because you didn't see Neil Patrick Harris or, Cheyenne Jackson or any star, make it possible, or you didn't have like your friends, or maybe as you got into your 20s, like there was no example of it. So you didn't really see a path like, sure, it sounds great, but it doesn't, you don't get to see yourself. And I hope that future generations, one, it becomes financially more, people that, it's not such a financial, burden on so many gay men, but that it's easier to do. And that people maybe become parents, younger.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was, I think that specifically with LGBTQ cinema, it's like we have kind of repeated over and over again, the idea, the journey of coming out or accepting oneself. And while that is like incredibly important to queer media, and while it's still very much important to continue telling those stories, we wanted to explore like a different path that hadn't been seen before, something that, the for example, Modern Family, we saw for over a decade, gay dads, in our homes on ABC, but Modern Family was a comedy. They didn't explore those like really hard questions that, for queer parents we have to go through, so this is very much that film, that does that pokes at all of those hard questions. And you will definitely hopefully we will bring tears to your eyes, and laughter and joy, and hopefully you have like a personal connection, to the film.
Let's talk a little bit about the cast. Nico Tortorella, from Chicagoland, a brand
Yeah.
new parent. When in the process of Nico's parenthood journey did you discuss the script with Nico?
So we shot right at the end of 2021. So we shot in November 2021. And so this was when Nico was just starting their journey to fatherhood. So, when we first started talking about the character, that was something that Nico and I both clicked on. The desire to be a dad was very much present within him and Thomas. And so he saw himself in this role. And I really do think that he excelled and he, exceeded my expectations for what he brought. I think that this is a new side of Nico. I've been a Nico fan since when he was on that old Fox show, The Following with Kevin Bacon, a decade ago. So I've always been a Nico fan, but I really do think that you're going to see this dramatic side of him that you haven't seen before. And I think he excels.
Emily Hampshire, obviously a lot of people know her from Schitt's Creek, delivering all these funny one lines, but such an emotional role, such an important part of Thomas's life. Talk a little bit about that character and working with Emily.
Emily was a dream come true. I think that like we had always envisioned Emily for that role, and when she accepted it, she actually sent us a video of her right after she got done reading the script, and she was on a plane and she was sobbing, and it was like just meant for us. It was like meant for Danny and I, and she was like, I just love the movie, and like I can't wait to be a part of it. Thank you so much for the offer. Emily also had like gone through some experiences and felt, she recognized a lot of herself in the character. I think that was like a very interesting thing just for most people in the cast, that they recognize themselves in those characters and felt like that this journey, that this story needed to be told. So much of the movie for Emily, she just brought so much to the table. I like kept, if you like watch the film, there's a lot of scenes where with Emily and with Nico, or Emily and with and her wife, I like stayed kind of on these wide shots at the end of the scenes, these transitional moments, because Emily would always like improv and add these great little jokes and quips to the film. So so much of her is in this movie, because I had to keep it in. It was too funny and I couldn't take it out.
And I'm glad you kept it in. Let's talk a little bit. We talked a little bit about the gay parents and maybe seeing their journeys, because maybe it wasn't as specific, as far as like, this is our first surrogacy, transfer, and look, we got success, or this is our first, child that we wanted to, connect with and adopt, and that journey may not have gone the way they wanted to. But talk a little bit about maybe the friends who maybe don't understand. You might have grown up with somebody who was maybe career focused, and now, wait a minute, now you want to become a dad. Like, this isn't the person that I once, recognized or that I know. But talk a little bit about those changing friendships. I feel like so many people can get so many messages out of this to be like, oh, I get it now. Like, I feel like this is, especially for people who maybe don't want to be parents, like this is still a I get it now type of a movie.
Yeah, I think so. I think that it is like, I think for a lot of us, the idea of becoming parents is something that, either happens like in your early 20s, right? Like that is like, we all like have those friends who like immediately had kids. And then for the rest of us, it takes us longer to get there. And, we definitely have those characters in the film that are like can support the idea, right, of becoming a parent, but aren't necessarily like, that's just not for me. You know, so those people are going to be able to like find a lot of humor and heart in the film as well. I mean, some of a lot of the characters are based on our own best friends that Danny and I have in LA, you know, and Florence, our daughter, has great godmothers and godfathers, you know, that are there to support our daughter, but like they ain't having kids, you know. um so you know, that was important to us to have that element in the film as well, because that is like reality of the queer experience and of the queer community, is that, you know, some of us are not going on that journey, which is totally fine, which is why I hope that the audience takes away from, you know, the film. Obviously it's a story about a couple and their journey to fatherhood, right? But like one of them wants a child and the other one doesn't. You know, Juan Pablo Apache, who plays Oscar, you know, is very much career focused and doesn't see that path for him anymore of being a father. And I never wanted Juan Pablo's character, Oscar's character, to be, you know, the antagonist, the bad guy for not wanting kids, because I do think that like what his concerns in the movie are valid and are reasonable. I think that it is more complicated than that, than just one person is right and one person is wrong. This is really, you know, a story with lots of complicated questions, as relationships are complicated, and as we grow up, we evolve and can grow apart, you know, or grow closer together. So yeah, you'll see all of that in the Mattachine family.
And you know, an interesting part about his character in that situation is that I've heard it told, you know, this is almost like gambling. You know, you could go to a casino, you might put in $20 and you might win the first time. You might, you know, put 100 and not win. Then you might want to put another 100, and at some point you have to stop because it's not going to be for you.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, I think a lot of journey that so many couples go on, that like, we tried it once, it wasn't for us.
Yeah.
Let's move on. And then someone else who's like, give it 7 or 8 or 10 or 12 times, it might happen, but you know, you might have different stopping points. And I think that's just a conversation many couples need to have maybe before starting the process.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was like something that Danny and I personally experienced. We went through the surrogacy process. So like, you know, talking to all of those clinics, you know, about like what their percentages were on like how, you know, and seeing that, you know, it's very much like you're gambling your hard-earned money. Danny and I, you know, had been saving for years, for a decade, you know, for children. You know, this was you know, and we really had we had one shot at it until we like, you know, go back and save more for it. So yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's such an amazing film. Talk a little bit. Are you doing introducing the film? Are you doing a Q&A? Talk a little bit about opening night for Reeling.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is a Thursday, the 21st at 6 p.m. There is kind of an event beforehand at 6 to 7 that you can come and you can meet me and you can meet Nico, and we will share everything we can about the movie during that time. And then, yes, I will be introing the film. And then at the end, Nico and I will be doing a Q&A. And I do always love talking to people after the film. So please, if you're in the audience and you want to come up and say you loved it, you hated it, whatever, like I would love to hear what you thought. So so excited to be coming to Chicago next week to watch the film.
Well, I'm going to say this about the movie. I need a prequel. I need a sequel. I hope you and Danny are working on it, because I need so much more of this universe and all these stories to be explored. I'm just throwing it out there. But I
love that. Sure. Yes, absolutely. And that is something that we have always discussed, right? Because it is very much, we have, with this film, we form a family, you know, we form this chosen family of this group of friends, and, you know, we will watch them in this film go through one kind of big experience, but that doesn't mean that they, you know, don't continue their lives in 1,000 different ways and you know, and have their other ups and downs. So who knows? We'll see.
Andy, thank you so much for your time today. ReelingFilmFest.org is where you can go ahead and get tickets for opening night or any other films playing at the Reeling Film Festival. And can't wait to see you in Chicago. And congratulations on opening night.
Thank you so much, Rudy. So glad to talk with you.
Thank you so much.